So this talk is called How to Do Things with Monks, and there's a lot of slides to make sense of it, so I'm trying to get going as soon as possible. We all know John Austin and his idea of performativity, so this is where the title is coming from. So how to do things with words. Monks are very silent, they don't speak much, but this idea of performativity is going to come across in the talk as both an inspiration and also an enemy. So transforming with communication is one of the projects that we've been doing the last couple of years with a team of 3 people. I'm just one of them. There's Paulus here in the room, and Mihail is not here tonight, but we all work together to think of different ways to engage with the idea of transformation through communication. So we're doing research on the urban governance of sustainability-oriented transformations. So that means climate-related adaptation and mitigation projects in various sectors of human activity. So in society-wide transformations demand public support, and the grand tradition or aspiration of the Sustainable Development Goals. The idea is to approach people as subjects of this transformation and just objects of the transformation. It sounds really nice, and but of course it demands a lot of reflection to make it happen. So which kind of stakeholder consultation strategies and public engagement formats could help making this aspirational true? So what can arts and design-based methodologies bring to the table? So what can they do to enrich the question, and how can they help improve understanding, commitment, and participation in this difficult and tenuous and very unpredictable transformations? So as we know, participation is problematic. It's a word that it's also we used in the Ankündigung text of this evening as event. We all think that when we invert power structures and untop down everything, then it's going to work out. But of course, it's more complicated than this, and it's all about the way you do it, the way you build it, and indeed avoiding the sometimes performative dimension of participation, which is avoiding the elephant in the room, which is what we're going to talk about, the complexity of involving people in something that actually has consequences, material consequences. So we have an engagement question. And if we raise awareness, as you can see here, as arts like to do always, and you don't raise agency in the same time, like make it fall like this, doesn't have to go down, but like if it doesn't raise in the same time, you're going through the roof in this sort of Algorian kind of way, because you're having this gap between awareness and agency. And this gap is the gap of anxiety. So we're starting from this perspective. We have an equation, which is awareness minus agency makes anxiety. In other circumstances, you could say that it's going to be an anarchy, or it's going to be a fuel for activism because you're fed up, because you understand too much, but you can't do anything. So awareness plus agency would be the idea of Transformationsbildung, which is what we're started thinking about in this little team of ours, and communication and connection with many of the people we discussed in the last 3 years. So how to make this transformation build and work? It's a big question. What about working with arts and art museums? All around the Western world, museums develop new expectations for themselves. They want to be inclusive and self-critical. They question their legacies and present themselves as sites of social action. So public spaces in which audiences do transformative things together, not only just participate, and certainly not just look at stuff, but they participate more than participate. Now we're transforming. That's cool. So our question is, what can we do with museums, not just in museums? And our transformative proposal would be to explore collections, to create systemic connections in social constellation, and paint real-world landscapes with it. So build green roofs, wild meadows, and rainwater gardens to begin with. So what kind of social practice is this? We sought to develop public engagement formats with Berlin schools, children, and teachers to develop a collaboration with Haus Bastian's expert team in Kulturelle Bildung, with the attempt to make Kulturelle Bildung a site for Transformationsbildung. And it was just about time. because in October 2022, a new wave of environmental activism targets cultural institutions. So that's the anxiety thing. Just Stop Oil intervenes with attacking well-known artworks with soup, which I found very sympathetic. And museums worldwide on high alert. Everyone's scared for their investment. What else can we do with museum collections than throw soups at it? If art can raise awareness, can it also give us more agency? Just more awareness and more agency. What else can we do in, with, and outside museums to achieve change, not just in their institutions, but everywhere else? So how to do things with monks? Our team designed a prototypal intervention for school children. I think they were 10 to 14 years old, if I don't get it, if I misremember. In collaboration with House Bassins experts, we curated an artwork and chose no less than the freshly restored monk by Caspar David Friedrich, which is like a superstar amongst many. It's a cliche, but it's fresh. So developed a format to introduce nature-based solutions through the monk to teachers and school children and invite them to do art with them. We use the experiment to reflect on the resources needed to go beyond raising awareness and raise agency along, which is the idea. Question, can we use collections to address pressing issues of socio-ecological transformation while experiencing artworks for what they are? Develop new ways to read them. So for instance, discover what's hidden into them, like perhaps systems, for instance, socio-ecological systems, and perhaps even create new kinds of creative responses together. So in a communal attempt, maybe real-world projects. The challenge is to create productive synergies between aesthetic experiences and science communication, kulturelle Bildung and Demokratiebildung, global climate education, and local sustainable solutions. That's the idea. Our goal is to paint green roofs for real, wild meadows, rainwater gardens in Berlin cityscapes, with constellations of social actors built to realize small transformation projects using nature-based solutions as palettes. So what did we learn? We're approaching art as a boundary experience, weaving reception and action in a full engagement with transformation questions and translate them into real-world collaborative projects. Doing art in and out of the museum can become a pedagogical strategy, questioning the way culture defines nature and reframes it into socio-ecological systems. This practice would be critical, so it's a critical social practice, I honor your title, to help publics approach landscapes as more than vistas, complex spaces resulting from social, economic, and political agreements they could be differently part of, because we're already part of it, but not the right way, by doing with, so closing the gap between awareness and agency. So, first step, you experience art, you question your attention, you discover hidden systems and why they should be protected. Then you do learn about socio-ecological systems, doses, hidden things, explore your place in them and respond creatively with the utopic place. And then that's the hard part, you translate utopia in place. You prototype a change project and develop social constellations to realize them. So, critical point first, how to develop this kind of interventions, this aesthetic, scientific interactions. And for this, we need a new student gang, new curriculum, and I'm very happy to use the hybrid lab tonight to announce that it's going to happen. It's not going to happen, but it's going to happen anyways, in a way or another, between TU, DECA, whoever else wants to do it. And the critical point number 2, Andre's there, we're working on it. Supporting funds and infrastructures needed to develop social constellations and facilitate their actionability. It sounds very buzzy, but it means money, basically. To money, people, stellen, to help others come together and make these difficult projects. Because you need people from the public administration, you need private sector people, you need residents, you need landlords, you need Ordnungsamt, you need your grandmother, you need the neighbors, you need all sorts of different people come together to do actual projects. And that's the gap between awareness and agency. And so we tried out with the monk in the Alte Nationalgalerie, and that was fun. I wasn't there, but Paolo can tell you all about it. And the first thing is we experience art. This is the first step. Then you do learn about socio-ecological systems, and you explore it creatively with stuff, like you engage with it as an artist. And then you translate utopia in place. So that's more or less what happened with this monk. You look at the picture, and as Paula says, you subvert the way you look at it, and you extract something else out of it. In this case, it's the ground, and this little sand grasses there growing, which are so essential to keep the dunes together when you're thinking about coastal erosion and the sea level rise. Then you introduce ideas about nature-based solutions and the way we're embedded in them as an agent. As human being, we're agents in these nature-based solutions. Then you ask children to create a scenario to use one of these natural-based solutions in their area to, for instance, build a green roof or make a rainwater garden or whatever else can be useful, like wild meadows to push biodiversity in the city. Then you ask them how to do it. And how to do it, you need all these different people who know different things, that can do different things, or are curious to do different things, and have different positions in life, in society, in the area, and you bring them together to work together in making this project happen. So that's the social practice. It's a social catalyzer, as technocrats call it. I'm almost finished. And then eventually you get this thing done, which is the dream to have this impact, which is both social sustainability and environmental sustainability, because it works together. You make people work together and you achieve something that's positive for the environment. So social practice in this context of transformative learning, the development of social connection and collaborative competences to achieve sustainable change. In other words, building weak constellations is a critical social practice. It is itself the pedagogical strategy to close the gap between awareness and agency. It can be transformative if it leads to transformations. That means social sustainability with environmental sustainability. So give us money, and we're going to make it work. Okay, thank you very much.